one change in that from the advertised program. Chris Houghton comes into the side in the centres. You'll notice Brett Kenny will be playing 5'8" instead of the luckless Michael Patterson. He just never seems to get a run of good luck. He's pulled out with a back injury. Sterling is captain, playing his 100th first-grade game for Parramatta today. And you'll notice the back row of Parramatta having been changed around. Ray Price in Paris for the 50th anniversary game of French Rugby League. Sharp at lock, Gibbs and Wynn in the second row. And speaking of Peter Wynn, he's a man who's certainly been affected by bad luck throughout his career, but this season he's been playing football better than ever, and he looks a good chance of getting back into the New South Wales side and possibly even the Australian side. And certainly a man we'll be watching this afternoon, number 10. Let's have a look at this Canberra side. There's Ronnie Giddo leading the Canberra Raiders out onto the field. And after 5 rounds, they're the equal competition leaders. Certainly they've come a long way since that game here at Belmore last year, and also the year before when Parramatta inflicted very big thrashings on the Raiders. This afternoon, it may be a different story. Sigsworth, they're the fullback, Ronnie Sigsworth, brother of Phil, who's back on the Manly side, I noticed this week. Dean Lance, the former Newtown player, coming onto the ground today in the 5'8" position for Canberra. And notice the back row for the Canberra side. Ashley Gilbert, Paul Elliott and Grant Ellis, they've been in superb form this season. And Ashley Gilbert, the lock forward, is one player who a lot of good judges and critics are predicting may even make one of the city sides this year. He's been in good form early in the season. And the referee this afternoon is Greg McCallum. Kick-off. Down there taking it up for the first time for the Canberra side is lock forward Ashley Gilbert. Take it outside his own quarter. John McLeod with the ball now. McLeod's had a checkered career because he played in the Brisbane competition before coming to Sydney and played with Western Suburbs in those halcyon days of Western Suburbs in the late 70s, and then went down to Canberra, and they formed up a couple of years ago. You're going to see the first kick of the game. Sterling back there, takes it superbly, and he's certainly looking for a big game today, as too will be Neil Hunt, who's now got the ball. Last year, Parramatta far too strong here at the Belmore Sports Ground, 46-16, but I don't think anyone will ever forget, and certainly no Canberra fan will let you forget it, that defeat inflicted by Canberra over Parramatta at Seaford Oval in the second round last year. A penalty here against Ron Giddo. The first penalty of the afternoon going to Parramatta. Speaking about Neil Hunt, of course, last week was his first game back in the side after that bad leg break he had in the semi-final last year, which meant that he missed the grand final, and he's only got back into the side because David Lydiard suffered some injuries, some rib injuries, in a car accident going to the game at Lidcombe Oval last week. So for those around Australia wondering why Hunt's back in, and for Lydiard, that was the reason. And a very talented footballer is Neil Hunt. And there's the restart, Jerd. Ball's dropped. The referee's going to rule a scrum. There's prop forward there, getting in with Stewart. Referee McCallum having a long yarn to them. Chris O'Sullivan to put the ball into the first scrum of the game. This will be a penalty. It's to Canberra. Maybe Gary can explain it.
Yes, referee Greg McCallum has penalised the Parramatta front row for not facing straight on. Yeah, they must pack parallel to the touchlines, and on that occasion they started to go towards the opposing touchline.
Well, that's a good kick too. And Canberra now with a good chance to go right on with the attack here in the early stages. Jay Hoffman, Grant, and Stan Jerd along with Ken Stewart doing the tackling. But they're only about 8 metres out from the Parramatta line, so Canberra with a good opportunity. A run round, Chris O'Sullivan. Back it goes to the second rower, Paul Elliott. He's held up 12 metres out. Jay Hoffman. To the way there to John McLeod. Now David Grant going from dummy half. He looked to throw the pass back inside, but good bit of defence then from Sterling. This time McLeod reverses it. Back it goes there to the second rower in Paul Elliott, trying to make some gaps down the middle. The Parramatta defence holding at the moment. Hoffman. O'Sullivan. Well, he thought about kicking the ball, but that's a turnover. That's tackle number 6. The Parramatta come up with it 10 metres out from their own line. And that is the style of football we've become accustomed to with Parramatta this season, Gary. They've really used this straight line defence to the greatest effect and shut a lot of sides out of matches so far. Peter Wynn with his first touch of the ball, trying to make it up towards his own quarter line. only about 4 metres short. That's the quarter line just on the left-hand side of the picture as Peter Sterling puts the little kick over the top to race for the ball. Brett Kenny's up there first, picks it up. Back it goes to Paul Taylor. He looked around for some support. The only support that was there, the 3 Canberra defenders. Sterling. Mears out amongst the backs, a long cut-out pass. That's the ball. Kenny, Sterling will kick it again. Ronnie Sigsworth getting under it, no pressure at all. Very easy and comfortable take that time. He takes it about 9 metres inside his own territory, and that's about 20 metres in from the grandstand touchline. That's Elliott with the ball. Hoffman in a dummy half for Canberra. McLeod. Mears. So Nathan Gibbs in there doing some defensive work along with Steve Sharp. The entire Parramatta back row that time. Dean Lance switches it back to O'Sullivan. Looking for the gap down the centre. He's very nippy, Chris O'Sullivan. Given half a chance, he can be as good as any attacking halfback in the Sydney competition. And Ron Sigsworth up in the line. That's the 5th tackle, so play just inside Parramatta's territory. So Canberra will, in all likelihood, kick. Back it goes. Again, doing the kicking is Elliott. Taylor allowing it to bounce. Gets away from Gilbert's tackle. Can't beat Hoffman, who's up there very quickly. It's Hunt in a dummy half. Back it goes to Sterling. Sterling gets it out wide to Hunt, who's backing up well. Hunt chopped down very quickly by John McLeod round the legs just out from his own quarter line. Stewart. Again Sterling. Look at big Eric Growth trying to crash his way through. Not much of a path down there. Sterling out to Stan Jerd, who's had a good start to the season. He's certainly well and truly wrapped up there. David Grant coming in. Terry Fay. And also involved is Ashley Gilbert, but David Grant's obviously, and Terry Fay. Something involved in the tackle there, Gary.
It may well have been Terry Fay for an earlier tackle too, just a moment ago. He certainly seemed to go in very vigorously on Eric Growth, but the referee's seen an illegality by David Grant in that tackle and been quick to clamp down on it.
That could be an interesting duel this afternoon when you think about it on that far wing. Eric Growth versus Terry Fay, probably the 2 biggest and strongest wingers in the competition.
Yes, certainly no place for the faint-hearted over on that side of the field.
I don't think I'd like to be involved in either of them are going in to tackle each other. So Parramatta with the ball, just inside Canberra's territory. Jerd gets it back to Nathan Gibbs. He's tackled right in the centre of the field, about 5 metres Canberra's side of the halfway. That's Paul Mears going for a run from dummy half. He's another one of the young aspirants to City first and seconds positions so far this season. A good bit of football then as it goes back to Sharp. The Mears again, out wide, Peter Wynn. And some good tackling over there. And the Canberra line prevents Parramatta from scoring that time. Now Mears looking for support. Oh, almost through that forward. Standing still, Growth does well to handle that. Racing down the touchline, and the ball goes back inside to Hoffman. He may have even been a shade offside then. It looked for me as if he may have been. It looked to come off a Canberra player as Growth threw that ball back inside, and Hoffman was definitely standing in front of the Canberra player, which would have been a penalty. We just saw the evidence of just how powerful and strong Eric Growth can be out there on the right wing for Parramatta. Canberra with it. They drop the ball. Looked to be a knock on both ways. That's exactly how referee Greg McCallum saw it. A scrum will go down 16 metres out from Canberra's line. And Sterling will put the ball in. So Ken Stewart, almost a 50% winning rate so far this season. He wins another one. Now Brett Kenny trying to get round his opposite number, Dean Lance. Lance bottled him up well that time. That's Taylor in a dummy half. Sharp, Ella getting it out wide to Chris Houghton, who has his first touch of the ball. Houghton, a former Leeton player, also played with Penrith last year. Peter Sterling. Now here's Eric Growth coming into the line. He'll go looking for some work early today. He's a devastating footballer. Stewart, Jerd, looking straight down, looking for that gap down the middle, but it closed pretty quickly. Jay Hoffman in there with Grant. Taylor, Growth, Sharp, looking for a pass back inside. Now gets it out to Hunt. Hunt trying to get on the outside of his man Walker, but Walker holds him well, ball and all. 11 metres out, tackle number 5. Sterling puts the ball high in the air. That's a good kick. Right down in just inside the end goal. Ronnie Sigsworth right above the pack, took that superbly. A line drop out to restart play from Canberra. This is a perfect kick from Peter Sterling. And look at the really good piece of football from Ronnie Sigsworth. There he is, moving in now, judging his leap to perfection. And certainly under some pressure, but took that superbly and both arms around the ball. So Parramatta, after the restart with the ball, right on the quarter line. That was a little bit fortuitous for Parramatta as Taylor managed to get that ball back after Stewart tried to get the pass away. Now Sharp, Sterling, Kenny. Cuts out Ella as he gets the pass away back to Houghton. Houghton back to Kenny. Kenny gets it away to Growth. And that's what we were talking about early in the day, about how much Parramatta can keep this ball alive. That's Sterling again. The ball is jolted out of Peter Wynn's arms. Coming up with the ball is O'Sullivan for Canberra. He's tackled just outside his own quarter line, right in front of the goalposts. Some good tackling there from the Parramatta side. Peter Wynn very much involved there with Mayers. Now Ashley Gilbert takes play to within 12 metres of the halfway for Canberra. They're 12 in from the grandstand touchline. Hoffman. That's Dean Lance. On it goes to Ellis. Just charging ahead, but again the defence very strong. Stephen Sharp involved. John McLeod standing out amongst the backs. Pass goes out there to Craig Bellamy. McLeod. O'Sullivan puts the kick up. Sterling takes it safely. A long pass out to Hunt. Hunt trying to beat the opposition with a change of step and good tackling from Ron Giddo, and across there Gilbert, the lock forward, brings him down 2 metres in from touch and about midway between the half and quarter line in Canberra's territory. That's Chris Houghton with the ball. And this will be, I think, another penalty against Canberra, but in all likelihood David Grant, I'd suggest, again.
Yes, it's David Grant. Now, this is the second caution he's received, second penalty against him, and the referee has cautioned him on the run only a few minutes ago, so he really has to watch himself. Here it is, just watch him going in over. Very careless use of the knees, right into the side of the Parramatta player.
A bit of a stiff arm in there too. He was one player who was very keyed up in the dressing room to really get involved in this game, and he's certainly doing that early on. Parramatta now with the opportunity. They're 14 metres out. Sterling. Gibbs with the ball. Stewart. Sterling again. Hunt. Certainly no passage down there. Cloud over the top with Hoffman doing the defensive work. Stewart in a dummy half. Taylor. Long one out to Mayers. Mayers seemed to stop when he got to that ball. That pass just held up for a fraction too long. Just wasn't quite as well timed as he would have liked. Now Sterling off his foot, off his left foot, he's in. That's a great try to mark his 100th first grade game. Peter Sterling, look at this beautiful little step. There he is, off the left foot. Jay Hoffman, no opportunity, straight through the gap. David Grant coming across, but Sterling knew where the line was. He dived underneath Grant. So Steve Ellett moves in. There's the kick, hits the post and comes back into the field of play. Well, he had a 73% success rate, but certainly a shocker. Now let's have a look at this again. There's Sterling off the left foot, straight through where the referee McCallum was standing, but the defence was very thin. Good try. 4 points to nil. So Parramatta come up with it, and Steve Ella making some ground. Ella in the clear, he's over the halfway. Walker coming at him. Walker will take him, gets the ball back inside. Houghton does well to pick up a bad pass. Hunt keeping the movement going, gets the pass away. That's Kenny, back inside it goes to Taylor. Taylor looking for support of fabulous Parramatta football. Oh, great stuff. That's Wynn at dummy half. Wynn going on his own, gets the pass to Sterling, he can't hold onto it, and Ronnie Sigsworth comes up with it. And it's a penalty. It's a penalty against Canberra for Sterling as he tried to take that pass, being held back by the Canberra defence. Otherwise, it probably would have been another 4-pointer. Kick from Ella. That's a much better kick than the earlier attempt, and that's 2 more points. The Parramatta lead Canberra 6 points to nil. We've had about 16 minutes for the first half.
Going on number 4, Steve Ella, Canberra nil.
Tito, restarting play again, down towards Taylor. Back it goes to Hunt. Hunt going back towards the quarter line. Runs into some solid Raiders defence there. Ashley Gilbert, and also up there was Grant Ellis. And now it's Stewart running it out. He dummies one way, got away with it, back to Kenny. Kenny out to Ella. A long loopy pass that's picked up on the first bounce by Growth. Growth gets out of one. He's taken across there, put a foot into touch. The scrum will go down just inside Parramatta's territory. There's Don Furnett. This Parramatta machine is looking very well oiled. Canberra come up with a scrum win. Lance, the run round with Gilbert, back to O'Sullivan, the pass out to Sigsworth. This is some good football. Intercept by Ella. Ella should score. Coming across in cover defence though as Ellis. He's got Hunt with him. And look at Walker. By gee, he showed some abundant speed to come from behind to pull him down. Out it goes on the right again. Out to Hunt. Hunt keeping the movement going through some woeful defence. Off his left foot, off his right. Back to Taylor. Taylor running round in circles. Back to Sterling. Sterling ducks under. He'll score under the post. Try number 2. Oh, it's so simple. Look at this again. Some superb football again from Parramatta. That's Neil Hunt. Jinking off the left, off the right. Everybody goes again. Look at that. Some good football. Gets the pass back to Taylor. Now, what's Taylor? He stands around there. He's almost like a ballet dancer with those pirouettes. Now, Sterling again. Underneath that very high tackle from Grant Ellis and gets in under the posts. And there's some good football from Canberra. Look as if there was a trial. So here's Ellett, there's the kick, the 2 points are added. So now it's Parramatta racing away to lead by 12 points to 0. Here's this try again. Now there's Hunt, he did well. He got that ball around his ankles inside Walker and Sigsworth. Now there he is, off his right foot again. Gets his pass back to Taylor, juggles it a bit. The way turning around looking for a support. Underneath the arm, you notice that pass back to Sterling. Look at this, that's almost contempt for the opposition. Getting underneath it is Peter Sterling, takes it safely, looks for his wingers, now looks out wide and finds Chris Houghton out there. Houghton gets it back to Kenny. Kenny underneath one tackle, and then Walker comes again and decides to upend him. Bellamy also involved in that tackle. That's Sterling again, Chris Houghton. Very much underrated footballer, Chris Houghton. A few years ago when he was playing with Leeton, he was rated by many as the best centre prospect in the country for many years. And then he came to Sydney last year and played with Penrith, and of course this year he's playing with Parramatta. Peter Wynn making another few metres for the Parramatta side. Now Mayers. Peter Sterling. You could call that a shocking pass. Jerd throws an equally bad pass. Parramatta still come up with the ball. Canberra can do no right. Parramatta can do no wrong, it seems, at the moment. Now Peter Wynn going up the blind side. They're playing it all the way to gross wing. There goes the kick ahead from Sterling. The ball and the Parramatta team going through with the ball is Ella. Ella loses the ball about a metre short, and Canberra come up with the ball just out from their own line. It was Fay who managed to save the day just when it looked as if Ella had picked up a difficult ball to handle and had gone over for the third try for the Eels. Jay Hoffman going from dummy half. So Canberra really needs some points on the board in a hurry if they're going to get into this game. Ron Giddo, the Canberra captain, it is, who's down injured. Just fallen rather heavily. I'm just trying to find out where he did get injured. Hoffman, O'Sullivan gets it away now. Back there to Paul Elliott. Chris O'Sullivan looking for a gap. Hoffman picks up a very difficult pass. Now it's a handover to Parramatta. So Parramatta on the attack again. Mayers from dummy half. And again, he's tackled with the ball after being the dummy half. Stewart in a dummy half now. That's Jerd. And Stan just makes another few metres. Stewart. Sterling switches it back out to Sharp. Sharp almost straight through to defence. Gets a pass away. Sterling back to Wynn. Wynn intercepted by Terry Fay. Fay, has he got the speed? He's certainly got a lot of defence to try and get through. Gets through Houghton's tackle, and he's looking for support, and it isn't there. There wasn't one Canberra Raider within cooey of him. In fact, I reckon the closest Canberra player might have even been in Canberra then. It's a penalty to Canberra. They've got away with it, but...
Terry Fay with the ball. Chris Houghton is the player that is penalised here. Watch Fay standing in the tackle. No one coming near him. Now Houghton comes in again after having been beaten earlier and eventually gets Fay to the ground.
Now McLeod with the ball. He's made some good strong runs early in the game, John McLeod. And his mare's over the top. Bellamy, O'Sullivan, Lance, run round with O'Sullivan. Little flick pass back inside there to Ron Sigsworth. Canberra need more than that if they're going to open this Parramatta defence up. Hoffman again. That's David Grant. McLeod with it again. Standing out amongst the backs though.
Well, there they are. 21 errors is against Parramatta 18, but the early ones were the ones that counted when the points were scored by Parramatta.
And now a kick through has Hunt taking the ball. He beats one tackle, sends the ball out wide to Ella. Ella's got the defence converging on him. He runs out of room on the sideline. He had some support inside, but really the situation just called for what he did to close out the play and take the tackle. Now it's Jerd with it, gets it back to Sharp. Sharp looking for a gap down the centre. The defence was a bit thin there. They only just managed to hold on to him just inside Parramatta's territory. Sterling, Gibbs, gets the pass away, beautifully picked up by Kenny. He looked as if he had that ball dropped, but miraculously held onto it. Stewart again. This is Sterling. There's plenty of attack out here. The pass goes in front of Chris Houghton. He can't handle it. A bad pass. And Canberra come up with the ball about 12 metres outside their own quarter line. And there's another bad pass. Hoffman can't pick it up. He finally falls on it. Gary, you and I were out on that field. It's not wet.
No, certainly not. Just the sting taken out of it. It's in very good condition at the present time. Sun shining.
It just seems amazing, the number of handling errors. Although that ball does look very new, may be the problem.
Yet early Parramatta's handling was quite unbelievable. The way they had it,
wasn't it?
Precision.
And there's another handling error. So Parramatta with the ball this time. Jerd with it. 10 metres inside Canberra's territory. Look at the way Paul Taylor steamed onto that ball, and it's a penalty against Canberra for being up inside the 5. Steve Ella to restart play again. There's the kick. Good kick too. This will put Parramatta right on the attack again. 12 metres out from the line. Just having a look at Paul Taylor again through the binoculars. Then Gary certainly has got a nasty gash in his head there. Ken Stewart plays it. That's the run round. Jerd onto Gibbs, and Gibbs looking for the runner on the inside mares, but he wasn't there. Now Taylor up at dummy half. Away it goes to Hunt. Back it goes to Sharp. Now Taylor following Sharp through. Sharp can't get his pass away. Taylor in a dummy half. With his look-alike, it goes on to Sterling. And Sterling's wrapped up about 8 metres out. Stewart, out wide it goes again. Peter Wynn looking for a gap down the middle. He was looking to get in amongst the try-scoring action. But that gap closed pretty quickly out there as well. Underneath was Elliott and Sigsworth. Mears sends it out wide again. Sterling looking for try number 3. The gap closes this time. Lance over underneath and over the top, Grant. That's tackle number 5. Back it goes. Kenny will put the kick high in the air. He does so. It's a pretty good kick too. Walker looking around for it. Couldn't find it for a second. Now he has it. Trying to get back into the field of play. He did pretty well too, I think. He just got into the field of play. Good football from the former South Sydney player who's enjoyed some success down at Canberra this season. Canberra with the ball just out from their own line. Let's see what they can do with it. With 4 tackles left. Taking it up is Gilbert. And Sullivan in a dummy half. And O'Sullivan chinking off his left leg, looking for support. Ellis spins out of one tackle. He's tackled just outside his own quarter line. Hoffman going into dummy half. That's tackle number 5. It's Elliott out there putting the ball behind Kenny. Kenny does well, shields the ball well and gets the pass away to Hunt. Hunt running across field, looking for that gap down the centre. He chinked back in off his right leg. So Finally, he was wrapped up. Just still inside Canberra's territory, though. Steve Sharp with the ball. Stewart. Now Peter Wynn. Peter Wynn, good football. A lovely pass away to Kenny Stewart. Hunt. Out it goes now to Wynn again. Wynn keeping it going the same way. Ella knocks it on. That's an unusual error. Win to Canberra again. Sigsworth chiming into the line. He's looking for that gap in between Kenny and Ella quite regularly, but closes quite often. That time it was Sharp coming off the scrum who assisted Ella. Out wide, the ball goes on to Bellamy, and that time there was almost another intercept. Kenny almost bringing that one off. O'Sullivan a dummy half. Again looking for that gap down the centre of the Parramatta ruck. Had a few little chinking runs like that. Bellamy is the dummy half. Hoffman, Lance. Oh, and a very heavy tackle out there inflicted by Paul Mears. Saw the ball go to ground. Hoffman did well to retrieve the situation for Canberra. That was Ellis who charged onto the ball for the Canberra side. Penalty. That's against Sterling for putting that ball into the second row. Peter's probably turned around and said, "Not me, sir, it's my 100th first grade game."
And he's already scored 2 tries. It seems he can do little wrong, except that one.
He's probably back inspired in the golden slipper too, knowing Peter. Jay Hoffman restarts play for Canberra. O'Sullivan. Now it's Ashley Gilbert with the ball. He's wrapped up. About 8 metres short of the line. Canberra's territory, short of the halfway, that is. Dean Lance. That's Ellis out amongst the backs. This Parramatta defence. It's up very quickly. That time Mayer's up there. Gibbs and Sharp was also involved. Now Lance trying the little kick through. That didn't come off at all. In fact, Kenny's reflexes were cat-like on that occasion. He just dropped on the ball. And Parramatta come up with the ball just inside Canberra's territory. Win out wide. There's the ball now. Chris Houghton, a dummy half. Puts the ball high in the air. That was right on the half-time. It was pretty good thinking from Chris Houghton. A lot of his teammates, I don't think, realised that the half-time was that close and really didn't follow the kick-through. Terry Fay doing well for Canberra, but finally the Parramatta defence up there to prevent Fay making any more progress. So at half-time, Parramatta leading by 12 points to 0.
Canberra leading the scrum.
To one of the speedier and bigger backs, and it's Chris Houghton who takes the ball up to the Parramatta quarter line. Parramatta leading Canberra by 12 points to 0. Play just outside Parramatta's quarter line, and it's Stan Jerd with the ball. Play it back to Sharp. Ellis up there with Hoffman, tackling Sharp, about 8 or 9 metres outside Parramatta's quarter line. Stewart, Sterling, the little kick over the top, racing through is Taylor. Taylor looking for support, finds it out wide in Kenny. That's Ella. Ella back into Kenny. Kenny freeing his arms, finds Wynn. And some good defence across there in the end from Hoffman, and also Ellis stopping Wynn and stopping a promising movement. But how dangerous is Brett Kenny when he gets an opportunity? And there's some good football from the hooker. He kicked the ball out to, that was the last tackle. And the scrum will go down just inside Canberra's territory. Scrum win again to Canberra. O'Sullivan, Lance, good bit of defence then from Parramatta up very quickly. Finally, the ball went to Sigsworth. Bellamy. Now streaming into a gap out wide out there is Elliott. And a knock on. Ends that promising move. So the scrum going down, about 12 metres in from the hillside touchline, right on the halfway line. So you'll notice that the halfway line almost bisecting the scrum. Looks as if it's coming out Parramatta's way. Long pass, Ella. And here's Kenny again. There's the Canberra defensive effort in the first half. 101 tackles, but gee, they missed quite a few. Gilbert 18, Ellis 16 and Elliott 12. That's that back row from Canberra, which has been so good this season. There's Chris Houghton with the ball now from Parramatta, just inside Canberra's territory, almost in centre field. Sharp at dummy half. Now that's Stan Jerd. Runs straight back into that Canberra ruck. Some good defence. That's a lot tighter defence from Canberra, but they need to do it for the remaining 40 minutes. So 115 tackles done by Parramatta in the first half. Peter Wynn topping the tackle count. That's good to see. 20 tackles. Kenny Stewart and Steve Sharp getting through their normal work rate. There's David Grant up very quickly there on Paul Taylor, just inside Canberra's territory. Steve Ella with the ball, running out wide, runs into Craig Bellamy, and across there doing some other work is Paul Elliott. Now Growth, haven't seen much of him in the first half. He busts them up. He's looking for the support on the inside. It was there, but he couldn't get his pass away to Kenny. Taylor, Sterling. Sterling gets it out wide. Gibbs sends the pass away. It's almost intercepted by Chris O'Sullivan. The ball goes loose. The referee says 6 to go, and Parramatta now right on the attack again, 20 metres out. Stewart goes on his own. Larry Growth. It was a good tackle too from Ronnie Sigsworth. Many fullbacks have managed to do that in recent years. Now getting out of tackles, Sharp. That's now with the ball. Nathan Gibbs. Gibbs will score out wide. It's another try to the second rower. Bad defence again from Canberra. 16-0 Parramatta lead. Some more feeble defence. That's Taylor. Goes to Sharp. Sharp gets that bouncing pass away. Look at the beautiful handling work from Paul Taylor there. Out it goes to Gibbs. He looks out wide. That's some bad defence from Ashley Gilbert. That is woeful defence. And again, going high. And Nathan Gibbs saw that line. He's very big and he's very fast for the big man. So Steve Ella, the 72% success rate. That's certainly going to drop just a little bit as that ball goes out to the left of the uprights. And there's this pass again. That's Sharp with the ball. Now watch this pass. Goes to end. Look at the beautiful reflexes there from Taylor. That was really good piece of handling, that. And Gibbs looking outside. And that is a very, very bad attempted tackle from Ashley Gilbert. And Nathan Gibbs, across he goes. Good try. Parramatta 16, Canberra 0. So Parramatta come up with the ball. Canberra have had a couple of chances to score tries today, but they just haven't kept the ball for the 6 tackles when they have been on Parramatta's line. They made too many handling errors. At the moment it's 16-0 in favour of Parramatta. Sterling putting that ball behind the defence again. This time Chris O'Sullivan back there doing the sweeping work. Giddo. Lance sends him across again. This is Ronnie Sigsworth. He certainly hasn't stopped trying. Not that really any of the Canberra players have done that. Now out wide, it's Elliott got a good pass away then to Giddo, who in turn got it away to Bellamy. He's wrapped up just inside the quarter line. Hoffman, O'Sullivan, run around with Lance. A dummy, O'Sullivan looking to link up with Walker. Good tackle from Steve Ella prevents that. Now Walker from dummy half, pushes off Ella. Can't get past little Paul Taylor though. Hoffman. Elliott puts the ball up in the air, certainly nowhere near where he wanted it to. Coming through though, that's good bit of work out wide from Sigsworth to Bellamy, and he's held up a metre from the line. Well, a little bit fortuitous that for Canberra. Sigsworth at dummy half, trying to force his way over. I think he might even be there. No, he's only just short. That's Dean Lance. And a long pass out there to the backs of the forwards who are standing in amongst the backs, and that's Grant with the ball. And that's where the movement ends, about 19 metres out from Parramatta's line after they were 1 metre out when the ball was played. Their front rowers standing in amongst the backs. Ron Giddo trying to put the ball behind the defence. Going back there, Stan Jerd dives on. This will be a penalty to Canberra, right in front of the posts. And this one might be worth... let's Gary have a look at this, because... no penalty try involved here, I don't think, Gary.
No, I don't think so, but a little grubber from Ronnie Giddo. He follows it through now. The referee's determined that he was, yes, a little foot going out there, and that's a very good decision. Picked him up just as he put the foot out and tripped him.
Well, Canberra now with the ball, just out from Parramatta's line. Spinning it out towards the grandstand side touchline. Terry Fay steaming, getting through one, through another one. Gets the ball out wide to Ron Giddo. Giddo looked outside. Where's Billy Walker? He said. He's not there. And he's wrapped up about 20 metres out. Would have been funny if he'd thrown the pass. And David Grant goes to within about 8 metres of the line. Hoffman, Lance, O'Sullivan goes one way, looking to go back down the centre. There's no passage through there. Kenny Stewart blocks that off. Dean Lance from dummy half. This is one of their problems in the first half, Canberra, going one out. There's Johnny McLeod at dummy half. Giddo, there's the kick. A few Parramatta players back there, and in the end Sterling and Sharp combined to knock it over the dead ball line, and play will restart with the line dropout.
Sustained attack from Canberra been made possible by them receiving 3 straight penalties, and that's kept them camped deep in the Parramatta territory.
There's Steve Ella. There's the dropout. I don't think Parramatta are missing Michael Cronin in the attacking department during while he's had this broken leg, but I know one thing, Gary, they're certainly missing his kicking. Nothing against Steve Ella, but one really couldn't call him a good kicker on I've seen the last few weeks. So Sam Bacco with the ball now. He's ramped up about 15 metres out from the line. Hoffman back to O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan with Lance. Now it goes back on to David Grant. He's trying to get more involved in the play now, Grant. He's a big man. McLeod, O'Sullivan keeping it going the blind side. Elliott swivels around, gets it back to Bellamy. Bellamy looking for that gap down the centre of the ruck. Wrapped up in tackle number 5. Hoffman at dummy half. Will we see another kick go up? It's back to Giddo. There it is. Up it goes in the air. This one coming down in front of the post. A few of them going high. Now, I think in the end, Kenny went high. The ball came back down and he managed to take it as it came down. Parramatta just out from their own line. This is good football. They're running it from their own line. Eller, he's opened them up a bit. He's got Growth in with him, and good bit of football from Ron Giddo, knocking that pass down. Otherwise, Eric Growth may well have been on his way to the line. Well, that really was some good football. O'Sullivan now sending it out along the back line for Canberra, and again, Elliott caught in amongst the backs, and Bellamy can't make any inroads into the Parramatta defence, and he's wrapped up, and the referee's whistle's gone.
Paul Mears, I think, to be called out for a caution after something in that tackle. Yes, the referee's speaking to Mears. He's indicating that he should keep his hand down, keep the tackle down below the level of the shoulders.
So Elliott kicks for touch. Going back to that bit of play from Parramatta a second ago, Gary, just the way that they're 2 metres out from their own line, they spin it out along their back line. They're playing with a lot of confidence.
Just shows the confidence they have in each other.
John McLeod with the ball now for Canberra. He takes it to about 16 or 17 metres out. And the ball goes the blind side to Ellis. Kenny Stewart round his bootlaces. Hoffman. The ball gets reversed back the open side. O'Sullivan Lance. O'Sullivan back with the ball, looking for support. There's Sam Bacco. Hurdles one. Certainly looks likely, Bacco. Plays the ball to Hoffman. And David Grant busting them up the middle. Can't get his pass away, though. He's about 5 metres from the line. Hoffman again. O'Sullivan. A flick pass back into Bacco. Bacco might even score under the post. He will. Good football. Certainly a bit of innovative work from the halfback Chris O'Sullivan. I don't think Bacco knew the ball was coming his way, but that's the first try to Canberra. Let's have a look at this again. Here's Chris O'Sullivan, and there's the reverse pass. I'm certain that at the time Bacco didn't realise it was coming, and he's got under a high tackle from Stan Jerd. It gets through Sharp's tackle, and that is a good try. There it is, straight between the uprights. So 16 points to 6 the score in favour of the Parramatta side. Let's have a look at this from the other angle. Now here it is. Now what's this? There it is. Now Bacco didn't really, I'm not sure whether he knew, but he took it one-handed. Gets inside Jerd. Now look at the way he busts Sharp's tackle. So Parramatta 16, Canberra 6. That pass went from David Grant. He would have had, I don't know, no time, it seemed, to do anything about knocking that pass down, yet he managed to do so.
Well, similar to that bomb he gathered a little while ago down under his own posts. It was enormous to see the reflexes that this man has.
Well, now Canberra have made another mistake, and Chris Houghton has the ball for Parramatta. He's making big inroads. He's going across the quarter line, and he's brought down from behind. And going across there was Dean Lance to do the tackling. But Parramatta on the rampage again. They're right on the Canberra quarter line. The big strapping centre Houghton making a good bust for the Parramatta side that time. Stewart, Sterling, Kenny, Wynn out wide. Wynn bust them apart. Wynn will almost get to the line, but he's brought down from behind by Bacco, the try scorer. And Mears from dummy half, keeping it going the same way. Through the pass to Weller, he wasn't there. Wynn does well to retrieve the situation. That's tackle number 5. Kenny at dummy half. There's the kick from Sterling, and it's another superbly placed kick just inside the in goal. Sigsworth takes it well. The defence is up there quickly in Nathan Gibbs. Play will restart with the line dropout. Look at this, another great kick from Peter Sterling. Just inside the in goal. Now look at Ronnie Sigsworth, worrying a little bit about where the post was. Takes it, and Gibbs arrives at the same time. So that was good football all the way around then. Good kick from Sterling. Well taken by Sigsworth, and Nathan Gibbs showing you just what a good second rower should do. Now play restarts, and here's Eric Groth going on one of those block-busting runs, and beautifully tackled round the bootlaces there by Jay Hoffman. And Johnny McLeod is leaving the field for the Canberra side. Steve Sharp out wide, making some inroads now for Parramatta.
Gary Spears has taken John McLeod's place in the Canberra lineup.
And now Peter Wynn again going down the centre of that Canberra ruck. Stewart at dummy half. Stewart going on his own, still going. The defence held off there fractionally. Taylor at dummy half. Sterling, back it goes. On it goes to Sharp. A few reverses that time. A lot of understanding out there. In fact, Canberra have come up with the ball, and the referee's going to penalise them. I got the impression that he'd asked the player to play the ball then. St George, there's the kick from Eller. It looks pretty good. It's straight between the posts. So 18 points to 6 the score now in favour of Parramatta. In all fairness to them, they have tried to really use the ball out wide, and now Peter Wynn making a good bust. Gets his pass away. Back it goes now to Nathan Gibbs. Gibbs caught from behind. He's trying to free his arms. Can't do so. Well, Peter Wynn certainly coming alive in the second half. Now Peter Sterling kicking for touch. Hits the corner post. And play will restart from the quarter line.
Well, that'll leave the touch judge in no doubt whatsoever. That pinpoint accuracy almost by Sterling. He just needed about half a metre this side of the corner post to put Parramatta right on the attack.
He's probably turned around and said, I bet you I can do it again. O'Sullivan with the ball. Sends it out. That's Gitto. Back it goes to O'Sullivan, and he's tackled from behind. Henjack. Grant got his pass away to Sigsworth, couldn't handle it. And Jay Hoffman again doing extremely well for Canberra, coming through. He's battling possession there with Paul Mears. We'll wait for the referee. He says Mears has got it. Plays the ball. This will be a penalty. That's Hoffman. That was stupid football, really. And the referee has said that it was Mears with the ball. Hoffman's on the ground. Mears is playing the ball forward.
I just wonder here whether... it's the kick that Hoffman, that's the reason for it. He's kicked the ball deliberately out of Mears' hands, and that is a good decision. Initially, I thought that the referee might have been a bit harsh because Hoffman couldn't get up off the ground before that penalty or that play the ball could be taken.
He definitely made a movement, Hoffman, to,
yes, it's a good decision,
to prevent Mears from playing the ball. And that's what he's been penalised for. Stewart. Sterling, Jerd, dummies Jerd, splitting them up, gets the pass away to Gibbs, and he drops the ball. Ball's loose. Gibbs falls on it again, but a scrum will go down for the first knock-on. Well, Stan Jerd again. Look at this football from Jerd. Oh, he throws the dummy, goes through the gap, got his arms free, and Nathan Gibbs couldn't hold on to the pass. There's the scrum just out from Canberra's line. Canberra come up with the scrum win. That was Ivan Henjak who fed the ball into the scrum. Canberra the ball just out from their own line. Lance, Bellamy. It's Elliott with the ball now. Hoffman. It's Gary Spears. He's the replacement on the field for John McLeod. Back to Backo to Elliott. Left-footed kick down the line. Evades Sterling. Now Growth having to go back. That long stride. Picks it up. Got a lot of defence there. The crowd's starting to rise to their feet thinking that Eric Growth might have one of these long runs. He's got out of one. Good bit of tackling across there though by Walker. He's out of two. Gets the pass back inside. Canberra finally across there to finish the movement off. There's some good defence. Hunt now goes on to Gibbs. Gibbs making some inroads down the centre of that ruck. Notice out there to the left that Neil Hunt is a little bit winded. He's all right now. Kenny with the ball. Kenny straight through the gap. Kenny coming up to the line. Oh, really very solidly knocked then as he ran into Ron Sigsworth and also Terry Fay. Mayor's going to the ball. He almost held onto that too long, I think he did, because he had Stan Jerd on his outside unmarked and he only had one man to really beat. Now it goes back through Peter Wynn's feet. What a heavy clash that was when Brett Kenny went right into Ron Sigsworth. Now that's Sterling with the ball. Sterling off the left foot again. Back to Ella. Ella looking for a pass on the inside. It wasn't there. Tackle number 5. Taylor. Sterling. Shot at field goal. And it's successful. He's had a great day today, Peter Sterling. Parramatta 19, Canberra 6. And that certainly is the ball game. Here it is again. Off the right boot, over the black dot. That's Hunt. Hunt getting inside some. Pass out to Houghton, has trouble handling him. He does well to pick the ball up again, though. Two more players coming onto the field now for Parramatta. It's Michael Mosley coming on in number 15. And number 16 coming on is Neil Pengilly. Coming off is Peter Wynn and Paul Mears. Now Parramatta on the rampage again. It's Chris Houghton who's pulled down by Bellamy. And going the way that Jack Gibson and also in turn now Johnny Money coaches Parramatta, they would be coming off for a good early mark reward.
As a reward, quite correct. And they've had both had strong games today.
So Stan Jerd takes the ball up to the Canberra quarter line. This Parramatta side, they're so close-knit. They're very keen to get on with the job. Sterling, out it goes to Gibbs. See the way Peter Sterling went up to the replacement players and shook their hand and said, welcome to the side. It's old Dale Carnegie, how to win friends and influence people. Kenny Stewart, tackle number 5. There's the kick out towards the wing. Out there is Growth and also Kenny. Kenny does miraculously well to take the kick, but the defence is across there to take him to the ground. Doesn't go into touch. It will be a handover to the opposition, which is obviously Canberra. Here's the kick from Sterling. He was looking across here for Eric Growth's wing. Now look at this. There's Terry Fay up there. In fact, it was Growth who took the ball. I thought it was Kenny. Hoffman loses the ball forward. That will be a knock-on. Scrum will go down just outside the Canberra quarter line.
Parramatta leading the scrums 9-8 and a tight head to each side.
And now a penalty going to Canberra's way. Peter Sterling for an incorrect feed. I think he's done 2 things wrong all day, Peter Sterling. 2 incorrect feeds. He's done a lot of good work out there. He's been the general out there today.
Canberra leading the penalties 11 to Parramatta's 9.
Play to restart just inside Parramatta's territory. Hoffman at Spears. Gets out of Kenny Stewart's tackle, but Stan Jerd across there. The ball's gone loose, and the referee said 6 to go. Fay sends a loose pass along the ground. That's Dean Lance. Hoffman, Henjack. We've only got about 4 or 5 minutes to go in the game. Safely in Parramatta's keeping it, as it has been really after the 19th minute when they sped away after 2 tries from Peter Sterling and led 12-0. Walker. Kick behind the defence again, but Parramatta there with plenty of numbers. Back there, it's Growth, Sterling, and also Taylor. It's Growth who has the ball, about 12 metres out from his own line. It's Sterling with the ball. Now Chris Houghton. Pengilly a dummy half. The run round with Sterling. That's the quarter line. Parramatta's end of the field. Now Mosley. Stewart. Stan Jerd. He only knows one way to go. Gets the pass away back to Stewart. Out wide it goes to Gibbs. Gibbs the attempted lob pass over the top, looking for Chris Houghton. Stacks on the mill. And one of the Parramatta players has fallen on a boot over there. Finished up retrieving the ball. Let's have a look at this again. That was certainly a bad passage of play. It's Nathan Gibbs who's eventually got the ball for. And there it is. This is what's happened. He's just received a kick in the head, an accidental kick. Player coming through trying to get the ball. Stan Jerd again. It's going through the motions at the moment, it seems. Ella a dummy half. Sterling back to Ella. Ella going down the middle, gets his pass away. Brett Kenny. Kenny gets the pass back inside. Going across there is Hunt. He sends the pass out wide to Pengilly. Pengilly back it goes to Mosley. Mosley keeping it going the same way. That's Hunt with the ball again. And some other magic handling then from the Parramatta side. Now Stewart going for a run. Just slowing it down a bit. Tackle number 5. Sharp. Sterling. There's the kick. Back there, Sigsworth again. The ball running away from him a bit, but he does marvellously well again to take it on the full. Ella up there to take him to the ground, just out from his own line. So Ronnie Sigsworth has the ball, and there's the full time. Siren in the background. 19 points to 6 the score in favour of Parramatta.